The Oyo Empire before the storm. The Oyo Empire was built on blood. It was a land ruled by warriors, where the clash of swords was louder than the voices of men. The empire stretched across the lands, feared by enemies and respected by allies. But beneath the golden throne of Oyo, darkness was rising. A storm brewed in the shadows, a name whispered in fear. Bashorun Gaa, the warrior, the kingmaker, the executioner. Bashorun Gaa was not born into power. He took it. He was a warrior from hell, a man who did not fear gods or kings. His voice was like thunder, his sword like lightning. He could command an army with just a look, and when he spoke, men trembled. The people feared him. The Oyo Mesi obeyed him, but the Alafin of Oyo, he hated him. For years, Gaa had been the real ruler of Oyo, pulling the strings, removing kings, and drowning the empire in blood. But Alafin Abiodun, a young but fierce ruler, had had enough. He was not going to be another puppet. This empire belongs to the throne, not to you, Bashorun. But Gaa only smiled. Then fight me if you dare. And so, war came to Oyo. The night of slaughter. The first strike came at night. Bashorun Gaa and his thousands of warriors attacked the palace of Oyo under the cover of darkness. Torches burned, shadows moved, and death crawled through the streets. The palace gates were smashed open. Guards were impaled with spears. The screams of women and children filled the air. Blood flowed like rivers. Oyo was burning, but the Alafin was no coward. With 10,000 royal warriors, he marched against Bashorun Gaa at dawn, the sun rising over a city of ash and corpses. The Battle of Oyo. The battlefield was a sea of chaos. Swords clashed, arrows rained from the sky, war elephants trampled men beneath their feet. The Alafin's warriors were strong, but Gaa's army was ruthless. They fought like demons, tearing through flesh, severing limbs, drinking the blood of the fallen to strike fear into their enemies. And leading them was Bashorun Gaa himself, a towering beast in armor, his face painted in war colors, his eyes burning like fire. He did not fight with a sword, he fought with a war axe. With a single swing, he split a man in half. With a single roar, he sent 100 warriors fleeing in terror. But the Alafin was not afraid. The war raged for days, the sky turning red with blood. But the Oyo warriors did not break. They fought harder, they pushed forward, and finally, Bashorun Gaa was surrounded. His warriors lay dead around him, their bodies forming a mountain of corpses. Oyo's warriors closed in, their swords ready, their faces filled with vengeance. Gaa laughed. "You think you have won?" he roared, blood dripping from his lips. Then he charged. Like a demon unleashed from hell, he tore through them, cutting, slashing, breaking bones, crushing skulls. He fought until his last breath, but even the mightiest warrior cannot fight alone. 1,000 spears pierced his body, 1,000 swords cut into his flesh, and Bashorun Gaa fell. The execution. They did not let him die an honorable death. They dragged him through the streets. They spit on him. They cursed his name. And then, they tied him to a stake in the center of the city. The people of Oyo gathered. They cheered. The Alafin himself watched, his face calm, but his eyes burning with vengeance. "Burn him," he commanded. The flames rose. Bashorun Gaa screamed. The smell of burning flesh filled the air. The monster was dead, or so they thought. As the fire consumed him, he spoke his final words. "You may kill me, but my spirit will never leave Oyo. Your kings will fall, your empire will crumble, and the ghosts of the past will haunt you forever." And then the flames swallowed him whole. But they say, on some nights, when the wind howls and the darkness is thick, you can still hear his laughter in the ruins of Oyo. The curse of Bashorun Gaa still lingers. After Bashorun Gaa's death, Oyo never fully recovered. The empire grew weaker, The kings grew paranoid, and the warriors grew restless. Was Bashorun Gaa truly evil, or was he the only one strong enough to rule Oyo? To this day, his name is remembered with fear. Some say he was a demon, some say he was a hero, but no one denies his power. And so, the legend of Bashorun Gaa lives on.